right, guys, welcome back. This is Danny Pisani. Danny Pisani is the Executive Vice President of Contour Mortgage here on Long Island. Extremely successful guy in the business of lending. I mean, I don't even know how to describe what you do because you have your hands in so many things with growing the business and originating loans. It's something you're going to have to describe for the audience, but absolutely stoked about having him in here. He's a guy that's got an insane, interesting background that we're going to learn about, and we're going to learn a little bit about what he's doing now and where everything's going. So Danny, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. First podcast ever.
So look at this. We're breaking you in. We're breaking you in.
Let's do it.
So let's start from the beginning. Tell me about, tell me about your early days in life and getting started and kind of the character developing years of your life and what that all looked like.
Well, I think my character developing, man, that started very early. I lost my father at an early age. I was raised by a man who would be almost 100 today. So, I grew up having to rake leaves, shovel snow, cut grass for all the senior citizens on my street without expecting anything for it. I was taught, and work additional, whatever we could to help out at home.
Right.
So I was raised very early to work hard, do the right thing, and through that, my childhood, into college. I went to college for 1 year only, realized it wasn't for me, and wound up going into the Marine Corps, which actually I think that's what really just drilled everything that's in my core even more into me. And just
how many years were you in the Marine Corps?
A little over 4 years.
It's a long time.
So yeah, it was right after 9/11, and actually I went in right before 9/11, but I got to stay in a little extra time until they said it was okay to leave. So it's called stop loss, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So
so take me through. You're a kid. How old are you? When you enlisted?
I was 18.
18 years old. Okay. Here you are, a young kid. You've probably only been on Long Island your whole life, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Not much exposure outside of the island.
We grew up with nothing. No, my first time I saw a palm tree was actually in boot camp in Paris Island.
so here you go. You shipped off to Paris Island.
I was the only guy smiling.
You land in Paris Island, and here you are. You're at the bottom of the food chain, right?
Yes, very much so.
What was that like? What's going through a young Danny Pisani's head as he gets off that plane and he's thrown into because all I see is like the Forrest, or my conception of it all is like the Forrest Gump thing, right? Like they all get off the bus and there's the guy yelling, "Go, get in line, get in line." Like, is it like that? Like
it's like Full Metal Jacket, early.
Yeah.
You can only expect what you think is going to happen until you actually get there, and you are in for a rude awakening.
But it's good. These are character developing things.
You have no idea why you're doing half the things you're doing in there, and then months or even years later, you're doing something. And you're like, oh man.
Suddenly it makes sense.
That really makes sense why we had to do that,
Yeah.
Or you realize the drill instructor is a human being also, and they were just messing with you, to see what the.
And they had the same. They had the same troubles when they first got there too. And
then they break you down. It doesn't matter who you are. Their job is to break you down, and then mold you, and that's why they're so successful. I think that's why our military is so successful. So they do a pretty good job of it, I would say.
So then you ended up out west, as I understand, correct?
California, yeah. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to California for 6 months and check out the West Coast before heading back to New York.
This is after you were done with your service?
After the military, yeah. And 6 months turned into...
Did you see the whole country while you were in the military? Like, were you being shipped around to different bases and stuff like that? I don't know how it works. It's just an honest question.
So you go to boot camp, and then you go to your MOS school, or you go to School of Infantry if you're infantry, and then from there you go to your duty station.
Okay.
So they gave me two choices. First choice was Camp Lejeune, which is in North Carolina, and the second choice was Camp Pendleton, which is in California. So I said, I'll be close to my family. I'll choose the one in North Carolina. So they did the Marine Corps thing, and they sent me to Japan instead. which wasn't even on the table. That apparently was. I didn't go. So
I hear Japan's awesome, by the way.
it is phenomenal.
I heard it's clean.
Yes.
It's yeah.
We were in Okinawa, so it's a little island off the mainland, and it's you don't. Again, I never left the island really. So as a kid, so you realize that everything's in Japanese when you go to Japan. Like I just never put that together as a kid. You have to learn how to chop with chopsticks real quick. When you're out in town. Of course, on base there's utensils, but so yeah, it's
little closer.
A little closer. So wound up on the West Coast. That 6 months turned into 6 years out there.
Wow.
And I just loved it. San Diego's.
So I have a buddy that just moved to San Diego, and he's like, dude, I could go snowboarding, I could go to the beach, I could go golfing all on the same day.
Same day. Yeah.
All on the same day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell me about your time there. What'd you do while you were in San Diego or Southern California?
So I got out of the military and didn't know what I was going to do right from there. So obviously I went looking for an apartment. I went to go buy furniture. There was a gentleman who was my salesperson. His name was Fernando. And he's like, you're really outgoing. He goes, why don't you sell furniture? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not sell couches.
And you're how old at this time? You're 23, 24?
23.
Okay.
And he's like, well, I made $80,000 last year selling couches. I'm like, I'm just out of the military. We don't make a lot of money in the military. So it's like, wow, $80,000. That's great. I said, okay, so I did construction, which I knew how to do from before, finishing carpentry, some framing, and then I sold furniture. So I sold furniture for 1 year. I hit second in the country, actually, for that company. I think I made $150,000 my first year out of the Marine Corps, selling not just couches, but furniture, and I couldn't believe it.
That's one hell of a pay raise.
I was waiting to get arrested almost. I was like, why am I making this much money? This I serve in the military, and I make this, or I can make 3 times that selling couches.
So I have a buddy who today is doing something in the medical arena, but he, when we first graduated college, he had a teaching degree, and he was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make nearly enough money doing that. He ended up going and working at a Sleepy's, but at a Sleepy's in Greenwich, Connecticut. And he was making he was literally earning like $200,000 selling mattresses to people in Greenwich. Yeah. But anyway, so did you spend all 6 years in California selling furniture?
No, hell no. I did that for 1 year. So now I'm making money. I'm young. For me, I was making money then.
Yeah.
And so I'd go out, and I ran into a guy named Oscar who had a mortgage company. He'd always talk about it. Oh, that's great, mortgages. I have no idea about mortgages. So,
and this is what year, by the way?
This is 04-ish.
Okay, so the refi boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, everything boom. Purchase boom. I mean, everything.
Interest rates fell to like 4% at this time, right?
Yeah, they were low, and it really didn't even matter. People would get money with no credentials then, and their house would be worth $100,000 more. And
no income, no asset.
5 days later, houses were just going up. They were skyrocketing in value.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Oscar had a partner, and her family member was visiting, and he was from Afghanistan. So I met him. Fast forward 2 months later, he pulls up in a Mercedes Benz. I was like, "Wow, your family got you a really nice car." He's like, "No, bro, I did mortgages." I'm like, "Wait a minute, this guy, that guy made money doing that. There's no way I won't kill it in that." So
yeah.
So they got me to go in at night and to give me a phone book. Literally,
and you literally just start calling out.
Tell everyone you can lower their rates and save them money. So my very first night on there, I called this woman, and the woman answered the phone. Her name was Diane Snow. That was my first client. And
you still talk to Diane Snow?
We keep in touch actually once in a while. I do check in with her. She's an interesting woman. She breeds horses and dogs for movies. Like her dog was in Something About Mary.
That is cool.
That was her dog.
That is cool.
So she goes, "Listen, what you're saying sounds good. I have an arm and I want to fix it." And I put the phone down. And I'm like, this lady wants me to fix her arm. And there was no training. They were just telling me because that's all I was told. So the manager's
Best way
like,
to learn, by the way.
the manager's
Best way
like,
to learn.
you know, hi, I'm Snow. Yeah, we can fix your arm. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So he's like, just take her information down. So I write her information down. I think we closed her loan like 5 days later. It was a nice size loan. I think it was like a $20,000 check that I got paid 5 days later. And
That is so
I
crazy.
literally took the check, called both my companies, and quit the other 2 jobs right there on the spot. And I just that's it.
That was
That was it.
So then you spent like 4 or 5 years in California doing loans before you came back to New York.
Oh yeah.
So you're killing it in California, I'm sure, because it's your personality. It's what you do. You're doing really good. And then like, is there like a fear to say, you know, I got to start this all over and come to New York now and build all new relationships and kind of go back to square one? I mean, walk me through that. Because that seems like something that's like scary to do to a certain degree.
It wasn't really an option for me. The only reason why I actually moved back is because my grandfather who raised me had Alzheimer's. And so my grandmother couldn't take care of him anymore. She's 4'11", 4'10", you know,
Right.
and they were going to put him in a nursing home. So the girl I was dating at the time said, who was very close to my family because I used to fly back all the time.
Yeah.
She said, let's move to New York. I'll take care of your grandfather. You work. So, I mean, obviously that's what I had to do. So
Yeah.
I didn't even think about starting all over. Now, keep in mind, this is right after the crash anyway. So everything was upside down.
0809.
Right after the crash.
Okay.
So maybe a little longer, so 10, maybe 9, 10. But still, things were upside down, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very difficult. You know, you have experience, you have all this knowledge. You move to a different coast, and now no one knows who you are, and you have to find agents. You have to explain, not explain, but you got to show them you're good. You have to show them why they should stop using the person they've been using for the last 5 or 10 years.
Yep.
You know, or find agents that are newer that you can work with and grow together. And it was definitely challenging at first. And also the realtors from the West Coast to the East Coast are completely opposite.
Totally different.
They are so laid back in California.
Are they?
So laid back.
Yeah, we're pretty uptight here.
I mean, our workday there, you know, I go surfing in the morning, come in, work, go out for a long lunch with everybody. We go back to work again. But it was very laid back.
Do you want to go back there at some point, or are you here? Like if you had
I've
your
thought about
druthers.
this. I mean, I don't know. I have kids. So
once the kids start to get rooted, it's tough.
So now I'm going to be getting older. I think I would stay here. I mean, it's always 5 hours away, 5.5 hours away. It's a flight.
Yeah, buy a second place out there.
Well, actually, we have a home out there.
Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly. you did it.
Yeah.
So tell me this: what was when the market essentially crashed, right? 0809. Tell me, you know, what that was like dealing with a crash. Like, what happened, and why does a guy like you live through a crash like that and come out the other end stronger, whereas probably 95% of the industry leaves the industry?
So, I mean, the crash was really crazy and even personal for me. I had a very good friend of mine who was actually a master mechanic at Mercedes, a manager. I mean, he was making well into the 6 figures there.
Yeah.
And he quit his job to come work with me. And his very first loan, he's at the closing table, and we get told that the bank is out of business.
Oh my God.
So it was crazy. It was really crazy. All the money you're expecting to have come in is just gone. So, but you know what? It's you know, you always have to look on the positive side of everything. So you keep working and put your head down. I mean, for me, I've always been a lot of purchase business.
Right.
So a lot of people, you know, when rates go up, the refis and the booms and all that, they can't do much. If somebody has a rate that's 3.25 and you want to get a lower payment, it doesn't really work that way.
But houses are always transacting.
People always have to buy houses.
Right.
So, you know, I spent a lot of time just building relationships and with realtors and attorneys and referral sources, and that's really what I think's
Smart.
made the big difference, because we work as a team. We help each other out, and as long as people are buying houses, I think people will. So we
Oh
should
yeah,
be
of
there.
course.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. They always transact. So there's always someone writing a loan. But like you said, refis dry up when rates go up because people don't see the benefit in doing it and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So
Well, that's what helped. That's what hurt a lot of the other banks also, because a lot of their management in banks, when the refis went away, they weren't really purchase oriented. So they didn't know how to build relationships. It wasn't just do a deal, find another deal, do a deal, get another deal.
right,
It's building, long term. It's human interaction. It's a lot different. So a lot of those managers in companies was really weren't built for that.
right. Different. So tell me about you come back to New York. Okay, you're here. Did you join right up with Contour, or did you start somewhere else and then end up at Contour at some point?
Yeah, I went to Wells first, just
Okay.
because I knew the name. It's a big bank. They have
Yep.
them on the West Coast. I figured it would help to get my name out there, and they have relationships with different real estate companies at the time.
Yep.
I actually worked for I think it was the number one producing office in the country.
Wow.
So it's actually on the same street where we are now. So it's kind of funny. But phenomenal guys that work there. That is, some of them are still killing it in the industry.
Right.
It's a great group of guys. And then from there, it got to the point when I was there, because I didn't start as a banker. I started actually as a broker. But you had
What's the difference? Banker has a banker's license.
So a broker is a middle person.
Yeah.
They're someone who will shop around for you. They'll
Right.
send your information to a bank to get approved, and especially if you have any issues or problems, it helps out to have a broker. A banker is somebody who actually does loans for themselves. They do it
But they're
in-house.
limited to what that bank offers.
Correct. That's a retail bank. So as a mortgage banker, like for us, we underwrite for like 17 different investors. So talking to me would be like walking into all 17 of those investors at one time and
Right. Which
keeping
is
them. But we underwrite for them. We're not a middle person. We're not sending it to them to get it approved or funded. We put up the money at the closing.
right.
And actually, our entire operation is in Garden City. So it's really awesome, because when you're at different banks, like Wells, when I was there, was in Rochester and Philadelphia, Citibank's in Indiana, Quicken's in Detroit.
Right.
Mine is right down the hallway, so
Right.
it's a whole different experience as getting things done. But at that time with Wells, they were so busy that it was taking 120 days to close a loan. If there was something that needed review, it would take so long to get through the whole chain to get to where it had to go and get an answer. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but there wasn't a lot of human interaction. You had to go through the chains. So it was very hard to set expectations that I could actually keep or meet,
Right.
never mind exceed. And then that's your reputation. And for purchase, that wasn't okay for me. So
Right.
I had a guy I met at Contour who did a loan for me that I couldn't do at Wells, and it went perfect. So I said, all right, let's go check them out. And I met the owner.
So this is what year that you went from Wells to Contour?
2011.
Okay.
2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go over to Contour. What's the state of Contour when you get over there in 2011?
It was predominantly refinance. It was ran by the management and people like I mentioned earlier. Great for talking about scenarios and getting things done, but they don't actually help grow or build
Right.
or they don't understand the relationship side of things.
Right.
But I didn't really need them. I had my clients and I was building, and they gave me the support that I needed. So it was nice. It was actually very nice.
Nice. So in 2011, how big is Contour at that time versus where you guys are today as far as size?
Well, it's not just different in size; it's a whole different model.
Okay.
So I mean, again, it was all refis. So
Back in the day.
yeah, you can sit behind your desk and do a ton of refis. So we were doing good volume. I mean, nowhere near where we're doing now. I mean, maybe there was 80 people there, maybe. Probably include operations.
That included operations.
Yeah.
So where are you
It
guys today?
So we were in East Meadow. East Meadow is an older building. It was right above, Savannah and
Yeah,
Chelsea.
yeah, yeah. That it's the one commercial building that's tall in that
Yes,
shopping
yeah.
center.
So if you
Zachary's or whatever is right
Zachary,
there.
so
Yeah.
so if you had clients that came in on a Friday evening, you you'd be
That
the
place is
floors would be
funny.
booming. Yeah, floors would be vibrating in the desks, and you'd be
Oh
hearing the
my
bass through the
god,
walls.
that's
So
amazing. We used to go there as kids. That was like the club hotspot. They'd have like teen night,
oh my
and then they had old
god.
people night too, where there was
They still
like
there was a guy who used to go there all the time. Actually, I think he was older than 100, and he was a big hit on the dance floor. You probably see him there. He was there every Saturday.
that's hysterical.
He was awesome. But yeah, so um, 6 years ago, Contour changed quite a bit. So all the old management left. They split up with the owner. The owner, still the same owner, Richard
The
Pregiato.
gentleman I met the other day.
Yeah,
Such a nice guy.
Sweetheart of
Such
a
a nice
man.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's 77. He'll run circles around.
He's
both of us.
77 years
Yeah, it's
old, and
insane.
he looks like he doesn't. He looks like he wants to go to work. He wakes up excited to get to work every day.
He's one motivated human being. My hats off to him.
Yeah, yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I look at him like family now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So he came to me and said, we're splitting up, and the other managers were the ones who really handled and worked and interacted with all the loan officers. So
Right.
they took everybody. So I think there were about 7 originators. One we rebuilt,
And you were one of the 7.
oh yeah. I was. They put me in charge of sales, and
And what year is this?
6 years ago, January. So right now.
Oh, wow.
So 2014.
That's
It's been
wild.
that long, Jesus. 6 years. Yeah.
That's a short period of time, though,
well,
to be building a business to where you guys are now.
No,
That's
it goes fast, but
the growth has
feels
been
like yesterday.
vertical. I mean,
Yeah.
vertical.
We it was scary, to be honest. We had goals, and the goals were to keep the bills on and keep the company running and keep operations salaries going, and if we didn't hit those goals, there wouldn't be a company anymore. So it was definitely interesting. I just had my daughter.
Oh my God.
Um,
Just at a time when you want more certainty in your life.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it was scary. It was scary for everybody, but everybody really stood together, and stuck together. Excuse me. But we had a little office. Actually, it's where my office still is. But we had no cubicles. We had no signage on the door, no receptionist, no reception desk, no signage anywhere. So when we bring people in to interview
So it was a
them,
raw office.
they thought when I brought people in to interview them, they thought I was going to take them out. Actually, there's nothing showing.
It's like you walk into this dead office space. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and
That's wild.
it was crazy.
I was actually talking to John. John said that they were running the brokerage out of a hotel room
Here for Berkshire.
Yeah,
I remember going to the hotel room to meet
a
the
hotel
realtors.
room.
Yeah.
See, that to me, I love that stuff. To me, that is like that's the ground level. That's like
Well, imagine when your wife calls and goes, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm with the realtor." "Where are you?" "I'm at the Fox Hollow Inn." "What are you doing at the Fox Hollow Inn?" "Oh, that's their office." "What do you mean it's their office?"
it makes no sense. No sense. But that's amazing.
Listen, you do what you got to do.
Yeah,
You do what you got to do, and they did. And look at where Berkshire.
So now you start recruiting and hiring back end people.
So we had a good back end crew. We always had a good back end crew. I mean, the backbone of our company. They really are. I mean, the sales you need, but we can only get done what
they take on.
Yeah, they have to.
Right.
And so we were growing, networking. We did a lot of charity work. Instead of billboards or advertisements, we did charity work, and we figured we can network with people that are like-minded or people we want to grow with and work with,
which is awesome,
while raising money.
Yep.
And a lot of that, like through a Pink Tie with Mike and Rich Cave, which was instrumental, I think, really got us out there. We always had the athlete room at the big events, the Pink Tie events every year.
Yeah.
So we'd have all the athletes, and they'd see Contour everywhere, and meanwhile there's 12 of us, or it was total,
Yeah.
But it gave the look that we wanted to, and eventually one guy would come on and they'd see what we were capable of doing, and then they would tell everybody from where they left, this is what's going on, and it was slowly going, and then until we brought on Arthur Most and Adam that we were talking about earlier.
Uh-huh.
That Arthur, he's a managing partner and CFO who he's been in the industry here
Nice
forever.
guy.
So
Another nice guy.
He's a great guy. He knows everybody. He's
Yep.
been around.
Yeah.
And eventually we really grew. And it's the same way that the purchase business goes with referrals. We took care of everybody who came on, and then they just brought in other people that were good, and
so your business wasn't necessarily grown by outward recruiting.
No,
it was more good people knowing or meeting other good people and bringing them into the organization.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Which is good, because then you build a business of like-minded people
100%.
that are all moving in the same direction for the same thing. You don't have, the outliers, the people who think different, who become cancers in the organization.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No, everyone. I mean, there's guy Anthony. I mean, he used to live, where the Woodbury Commons are upstate.
Yeah.
He lived past that.
Wow.
And he'd be the first person in and the last person out every day.
That's wild.
And, it was such commitment from everybody. I mean, there's so many people. I couldn't name them all. But
so how many people are at Contour today, from the 7 that began as loan originators?
I know we got almost 300 people here.
Jesus. Where else are you guys located?
25 states.
Oh, so you guys expanded out.
We have offices in Huntington. We have offices in Smithtown. We have offices in Brooklyn. We have, Connecticut, Jersey, Florida, Texas.
But so when you were at 7 people that long ago, did that include others not being?
That was it.
Like, so
no, then there was operations. So there was probably 16 of us total.
But I'm saying, like, the other states.
That was it.
They didn't exist?
No.
So you're wait a second. How does that happen? How do you get? You said 25 to other states. 25.
I think it's 25.
How do you
get
get
26? But I think it's 25.
Is it a franchise model? Is it? What's the model?
So they're branches. They're just branches.
All independently owned. All owned by one person.
All owned by one person. Well, yeah, all owned by Richard.
Richard owns.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Don't let him fool you.
At 77 years old, that man is expanding into 25 states in 6 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is his retirement project. I mean,
this is fun for him.
I
mean, he's obviously doing very well,
yeah.
But he's staying busy. He's growing an awesome business. That is wild. It's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. And the 25 states, are they like all on the West Coast, all on the East Coast?
They're everywhere.
Some on the West Coast too?
Oh, yeah, California.
Wow.
So we actually, the company hit a huge goal for last year. The goal was to close $1 billion, and I think we hit it by October. So we're actually taking people from all over that down in Jamaica, about 120 of the employees. So people are going to come from.
See,
from
I love hearing stuff like that.
It is really like one big family.
I love hearing stuff like that. So $1 billion, how do you guys measure that? $1 billion is, let's say you write a loan for $1 million, that's $1 million toward the billion, correct? So that's considered volume. So that billion encompasses all of the contours across the country?
I believe so, yeah.
That's pretty wild. That's a lot.
It is. It's actually, you know what? I saw a video the other day. I'm not sure, but Joe, he works with Joe Preziotti. He said that there was, I think, only 3 other banks or 4 other banks on the whole island that did more business than us, and that includes your Chases, your Wells, your monster banks that have locations everywhere and have been,
Well, like you said, walking into Contour is like walking into 17 banks.
Yeah.
Whereas if you walk into Chase
with an easier time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you have someone who this is all they do. Whereas, you walk into a Chase, you might get the loan officer, but there's someone who might have been a teller 3 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different ball game. That's pretty wild. So tell me, like, where do you stand today in your business? What are your goals for 2020? I mean, clearly you write a ton of business.
Yeah.
I don't know what your personal numbers are. If you want to get into your numbers here, you can. If you don't, if you want to withhold them, that's fine.
Yeah. No.
But I mean, what do you? If you had to set goals for 2020, what are they?
So for mortgage wise, I want to hit 50% more than what I did last year. That's my goal.
50% growth.
Yeah.
Wow.
But just for that part.
And that's all realtor based. So you're going to be in realtors' offices, meeting with people.
It's realtor, it's past clients, it's attorneys. I mean, I can't tell you how many deals I get that it's the 11th hour, deal's not closing at the current bank, and they go, we need to close this in 2 weeks or less, or that's it, the deal's dead.
Are you guys doing like newsletters and stuff and reaching out to past clients and touching base with them?
We have a CRM. Yeah, we have a
CRMs
CRM
that do all that stuff. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we have a whole team that handles all of that. Actually, I have no idea how any of that works, but I do know I get calls from clients like, "Oh, I got your letter." I'm like, "Oh, that's great."
Perfect.
And but yeah, a lot of it's referral. It's I had a friend who needs to refinance, or my mom's payment. Things like that.
Those are the best calls. They're so warm.
Oh,
it's
my
easy.
goodness.
It's a slam dunk.
Any referral I love. It's I got one this morning actually. From an attorney I haven't spoken to in years. And they're like, I just remember you helped out my client, and I have this really great person that reminded me of you. I was like, oh, that's
perfect.
That's really awesome.
That's what you want. That's life. That's what makes doing this all worth it. So let me ask you this, because in business, people like you who are functioning at a very high level, you're like an athlete, except you got to worry about your mind and your body to keep yourself going, to be writing deals the way you're writing them, and to be functioning at the level that you're functioning at. I was at your office the other day, and it's like the list of things to do just keeps growing, and it's one to the next to the next. So I got to understand, like, what do you do to keep yourself together? Because that's something that I honestly struggle with at times. Is I don't take enough good care of myself in a lot of ways. And sometimes when I get I get a little burnt out, and I feel it.
Yes.
And any tricks to the trade? I want to know what you do, what supplements you're taking, working out, diet, everything. Let's talk about that stuff.
So yeah, I call it sharpening the saw. You always got to sharpen the saw. You can't just keep it going. So you got to stop. So there's quite a few things I do. One, I mean, obviously you have kids. I have kids. I always spend time with them, and that kind of helps me just clear my head of everything
Absolutely. Because that's what you're doing it for.
This is what it's all about. This is what it's all for, right? It's all for them.
Right.
And I always have something to look forward to, whether it be a trip, a vacation. I like to travel a lot. Even if
how many times a year?
A lot. I think we hit 11 countries last year.
Wow.
So, but it's not just that. It's little things. It's looking forward to watching a show with my wife at the end of the night, or eating something special for dinner. If I'm not on a diet, that I have to eat the same thing kind of over and over. So having something to look forward to, that keeps me always motivated. It's always, I make something. It doesn't matter what it is. Keep it small, very small.
Yeah.
The gym plays a big role for me.
Healthy body, healthy mind.
Yeah, you know what? I was never a morning person, even in the military. You don't have an option, but I became a morning person because now with my schedule, my evenings can go anywhere. I could think that I'll be done at 6 and I'm not done until 11 p.m.
Right.
So nobody really bothers me at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning at all.
So when do you leave time for sleep? And how many hours do you get in a night?
When I'm done working, and then, well, that's something that's also on my to-do list to change things a little bit. But I don't need much sleep. I can go with 4 or 5 hours most.
Yeah. So you're very different than me in that respect.
But it's not healthy. And going to the gym and dieting is only part of everything. The sleep is very necessary. So,
right.
I go to the gym every morning. Up until recently, I'd run 8 miles every day, 5 days a week.
Outside or in the gym?
Both, depending on the weather.
Do you do a lot of lifting in the gym?
Oh yeah, I lift.
So you're allocating it has to be an hour and a half.
Well, the 8 miles takes an hour. I run 8 miles an hour for an hour.
Right.
So I do that now. Now I'm down to like 3-4 miles an hour, just because I double fractured my big toe and have some torn tendons. So I
feel like I'm talking to David Goggins, by the way.
It's a great guy.
I know. Great book. You read it? I saw it on the other day.
Yeah, I read it. Yeah, I have a very good friend who broke his 100-mile record this year.
At the Moab.
So he did 34 or 35 100-mile marathons in 2019.
Jesus Christ!
Carrying the American flag. So he's a Marine also.
Yes.
You're all crazy, but he's a little special.
Yeah.
His name's actually Billy Richards. If you ever look him up on Instagram, he's Billy the Trainer, or I think he has Billy the 100-mile Slayer or something like that.
That's pretty wild.
He motivates everyone. He runs around carrying the flag. Everyone knows him for it.
Yeah.
So so I run.
Is he in the book?
No,
I feel like I've heard of him before.
Maybe from me.
Probably. Yeah.
But so I do that. I lift, and then depending on what diet.
Are you doing like high intensity training, like beating every muscle up in your body a little bit every day, or are you doing the old school, 2 body parts a day, one body part a day kind of thing?
So I switch it up. Right now I'm on a carb cycling diet. So basically, that entails every morning you got to get up, you got to drink 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
Which is disgusting, by the way. A cup of coffee, which I don't drink coffee ever.
What's the point of the apple cider vinegar?
I don't know. Besides to torture me, but I think it helps you lose weight, helps you burn fat.
Okay.
It has good things for your organs and in
your gut.
I have no idea. I'm told by everyone it's good, so I do what I'm told. Actually, I have a nutritionalist that I talk. He's like, just take this. He didn't tell me that I could dilute it, so I found
so
that
you're
out.
Just taking shots of apple cider.
It was so bad.
Oh god.
So then I run, then I eat a grapefruit, then I lift because I can't lift in the evenings. Otherwise, I should lift in the evenings. And then every morning it's 8 egg whites, 2 ounces of turkey, a cup of spinach, and then 4 more meals after that, which is usually about 24 ounces of chicken. 4 cups of broccoli and asparagus, and 2 cups of rice.
So who's prepping all this for you? Because to eat so specific.
My wife.
Like do you do it on like a Sunday and you plan out the whole week?
We do it twice a week just because I don't want to have food that's been sitting out for 6 days.
Right.
And there's also not enough room in the fridges.
Yeah, it's true too. With kids in the house.
So you got to see I got a backpack just for food now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I get 1 cheat meal a week though.
One meal. So it's not a full day. It's just a meal.
It's just 1 meal, and that's one of my things I look forward to now.
So is it balanced? Is it a grain, protein, a vegetable in every meal, or like what things consist of this particular diet that you're eating right now?
So today, for example, and this is a lot of the days of the week. It's 6 ounces of chicken, cup of broccoli, cup of rice. For dinner. Those are for my first 2 meals after the eggs. And then my last 2 meals is same cup of chicken, cup of asparagus, and an avocado without rice. So there's no carbs in the evening. And it's pretty much that for 4 days a week, 5 days a week. 1 day a week is just beef and asparagus, no carbs at all that whole day.
Wow.
And then on Sunday, it's same breakfast as always, 2 salads, 1 chicken, and then a cheat meal. And usually by the time I even get to that cheat meal, I'm not hungry.
Yeah, because you're full.
Always full.
Yeah. So what?
But I love food, so I'll stuff myself.
What cheat meal do you usually resort to?
This is my 2nd week doing this diet. So Sunday will be my 2nd cheat meal. But I'm down 14 pounds.
14 pounds. Yeah. What were you eating before this diet?
Well, in December, I just ate whatever I wanted.
You bulk up.
Yeah. I put on 27 pounds in the summer.
Oh,
I mean, I had a lunch with you. You saw what I ate for lunch. I mean,
stone crabs. You're a stone crab, man.
Anything I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
I really, truly enjoy eating. I enjoy food.
So this diet that you're on now is called the what?
Just carb cycling.
Carb cycling. And then prior to that, were you carb cycling? No, right?
I've never done it. I've done keto. I did keto earlier in 19. I lost like 35 pounds in 2 months. That was good.
Yep.
It's just it's not easy as easy when you get older, I guess.
No, and long-term sustaining keto, I don't believe is good for you.
No, but it's good if you ought to get into a bikini for a little.
Yeah, if you're about to go away, 30 days out, start keto.
It's
got you there. Gut health. Do you do what kind of supplements are you taking to keep yourself good? Anything at all? Nothing.
No, I was taking protein shakes, but that's not allowed on my diet. So I drink.
Yeah.
This thing.
2 gallons of that every single day.
Yeah, 2 gallons a day, and
Are you sure that's not bad for you?
yeah, I'm sure.
So how do you know it's the 3rd gallon that's bad?
You can Google.
You're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Google it.
Because I heard that too. I heard you could start like really like screwing yourself up.
Flushes
too much.
out things you need in your blood, you need in your body, some
Right,
salts that are like really So
Yeah, that's right. You lose sodium
yeah,
with the more you drink. That's right. So you must be running to the bathroom all day long.
I get used to it. I still have my military bladder, so
You hold it.
there's days. I mean, I don't ever stop. There's days where I have to go to the bathroom as I'm leaving the door to go to work, and then I won't actually go until I get back home.
Wow.
So it's like either I can go to the bathroom or I can finish this up for a client, or I can take this application, or I can drop this off for a realtor, or whatever it is.
Yeah. I hear
So
that.
there's only so many hours in the day.
Do you do anything for your mind outside of checking out and hanging out with family? You do any meditating? I know there's some people that do that stuff.
I used to do yoga. Since I hurt my back, I don't do yoga. Honestly, my vacations. I for me, the sun and the ocean are my meditation. It's my peaceful place.
I hear you, because
And,
when the shit's hitting the fan, you could probably, to a certain degree, go back there.
oh yeah,
You know?
yeah. And I mean, not only that, but I mean, a lot of my work is over the phone. So if I need to get away for a couple of days, I can work
You
from
could do
there. And my phone's always on. I mean, I literally I took an application last year, I think, riding a camel in the Sahara Desert. No joke. No joke.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been.
I think I'm the first person to do
Yeah,
that.
probably the first ever riding a
Yeah.
camel. That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So
I got reception there, but I can't get it upstairs. To
yeah,
Woodbury.
exactly. So and Verizon's right next door. So you went to 11 different places last year.
Yeah.
What places are on your list this year?
We're going to Thailand, and Thailand in a couple weeks. So
That's pretty wild. How long is that flight?
18 hours.
Whew.
18 hours. Yeah.
Are you getting one of those special cabins with the couch and the bed, and
No.
you're just going?
No, we're going regular.
Oh my god!
You know what it is? We were thinking of going to Florida for a school break. For the kids.
Yep.
They eye gouge you
Prices.
on prices. To go to Disney World, it's like $600-700 a flight for President's Week.
Really?
And I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But when I see a flight to Thailand for $430, I'm like, it's actually cheaper to go to the other side of the planet than to go to Florida.
Makes no sense.
And I've been there before with the military, so not everywhere that I'll be going now, because I can afford to go to some of these places that I couldn't before. But it's very cheap place to go. I think the average meal there costs $3.50.
Wow.
Massage for an hour is like $5.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you could go there, you can enjoy all your time, maybe go through a couple grand tops, and that would be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you spend unless you buy gold. I was just told upstairs, one of the realtors upstairs, her son is a jeweler who buys and sells gold, and he goes to Thailand all the time to buy gold.
Really?
So
because it's cheaper there.
I have no idea. I thought gold was gold.
Yeah, that's what
ounce,
I thought.
right? So
Yeah.
We'll guess we'll find out. But I mean, for literally like $200, you get a private guide, your own boat, and you can go over to Krabi or the PP Islands, or
right.
For the whole day.
So, outside of Thailand, any other cool destinations that you're heading to this year?
Hopefully my family doesn't see this, because some of them might be surprises, but we're definitely going to do Greece.
Oh, that's cool.
That was on my list for last year.
Santorini, Mykonos?
Santorini, Mykonos. We've done Corfu and a couple of smaller places, but I've never done the big ones yet.
Yeah.
So I know Emmett actually.
My buddies went there last year. I could actually ask them some questions for you if you want. They have
I have friends who live there.
Oh, do you?
You're actually a realtor who used to work for your company, moved back there. She's from there, and so
interesting.
yeah, it's it's so easy now to go anywhere, because even Airbnb, like, you want to go to an island that doesn't have these big resorts, or it's more private, they're still homes. You can still.
So you could Airbnb homes in remote islands without resorts.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
absolutely.
That's
I've
pretty
done it. I went. We had a penthouse overlooking the Eiffel Tower last year. I think it was like $98 a night.
No way.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a
Yeah.
hotel in the same situation.
Oh, it would have been $800 a night, at least $1,000 a night.
That's awesome.
It's
See,
insane.
I feel like once you know how to travel,
Yeah.
it's not so expensive. It's when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I have enough experience doing it now. There's no travel agent that'll. They all cost more than doing it.
Oh yeah. Do they even exist anymore, travel agents? Because it's so easy
They do.
to just do it yourself.
Apparently, my company used one
To put together the.
Well, you know what? It's 120 people.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a little different. It's different than organizing for you and your family.
Yeah, and you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy looking at different things from different countries and learning about them. And go, that looks really cool. I want to see that. Or you know, you watch a movie, you see a place, you're like, what is that? I want to go check that out. So it's that helps me too. Whenever if I ever just need to unwind, I love looking at all these different countries and learning about them and experiences and then planning it.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this up, I got to hear about your MMA experience and your first fight in Tijuana.
Yeah.
You got to walk us through that because that's pretty awesome.
So, I got out of the military, sold furniture.
So you're 20, you're 22, 23.
Yeah. Did mortgages. It's not my same pace that I've been used to. So a good outlet for me was I boxed since I was a kid, but getting into mixed martial arts. So this is kind of before everything got really big.
Oh yeah.
And everything
now
else.
It's tremendous. Forget it.
I'm 20 minutes from the Mexican border.
So, what could happen in Tijuana?
So yeah, I was a pretty big boy. I was about 240 pounds, and maybe a little heavier than that. And so my first fight is in a club called Baby Rock in Tijuana, and this guy I was supposed to fight, his nickname was I think the Cadillac. I want to say
the Cadillac. Was he Italian?
And no, he was African American, and he's this big dude.
Yeah.
I guess something happened right before the fight. He couldn't fight, so they said, "All right, it's over unless you want to fight someone else that's willing to fight you." And last minute, I said, "Yeah, you're to fight."
So this is full MMA. This is
oh yeah,
everything except eye gouging.
So
in an octagon.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are no shots below the belt. You can't. You still can't.
Yeah. And no, I think that those are the only two rules, right?
Yeah.
Eye gouging and
you can get kicked when you were down. There was no, there's a lot of different rules. So the guy who stepped in for him, his name was the Tank.
So you went from the Cadillac to the Tank.
Is the Tank bigger than the Cadillac? Sure enough.
He's bigger than the Cadillac.
He was a big boy. I think he walked around 270, 280. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I gotta lay him out before he gets me because that guy can definitely hit hard.
Yeah.
So I was nervous. I was a little nervous. I think everyone is.
Of course,
it's a good fight. Thing. It's a good thing, right?
It's a fight.
So, but I know I'm in I'm in a ring. So I know it's not on the street. I'm not going to get kicked.
In all fairness, you're in Tijuana.
Well, yeah. I didn't think anything was wrong with that.
It's normal. Cartel's probably betting on it ringside, but
they definitely were down there. They're pretty big down there, actually.
Yeah.
So,
have you watched Narcos? You big Narcos guy?
I did watch Narcos.
Yeah. Dude, Tijuana is like one of the main.
I got crazy stories. I can't tell you about them on here, but I've seen some crazy stuff down there.
Later.
But so bell rings, and I just went in with everything I had. And my first overhand right, I dropped him right down to the ground. And I was like, man, I got this. And I jumped on top of the guy, trying to ground and pound him, and I get armbarred. I freaking got armbarred by a overweight, heavyweight guy. I'm like, my jiu-jitsu was my weak point. I didn't really know anything about jiu-jitsu much at the time. I mean, I was learning.
That's the thing about jiu-jitsu.
So I learned really quick.
So you dropped them, you beating them up. Next thing you know,
and I got armbarred. I actually lost my first fight.
Still, though, let me tell you something. To be going into Tijuana to do a fight, I think that's pretty wild.
Yeah. You know what? It was still a good time. I never broke my nose still, so that was good.
That's good.
Yeah. surprisingly. But,
Just hyperextended an elbow. That's all.
Yeah, I could have ripped my arm off if he wanted to. So hats off to him for not.
You're not going to Vegas this weekend? I know earlier this week we were talking about.
I wanted to go. Everyone I asked to go said that they no, I can't go. I got this going on. Honestly, I'm better off working because we go away. I always like to really just overdo it, and never. I mean, I don't stop working anyway, but I do a lot extra before I go away. So it's all.
Who you got this weekend, Connor or Cowboy?
Oh my God! I would like Cowboy to win.
Let me tell you something. It's at 170. It's not at 155. So I think Cowboy might win.
He doesn't listen. He's a great all around guy. He doesn't talk smack.
He's awesome.
He's been fighting a lot.
He set every record in the UFC.
He's most finishes, most fights. But I think for entertainment purposes, if Conor doesn't win this, then the future is going to be a little more less fun without him in it.
I agree.
There's a lot of great fights that can come up if he wins. Masvidal.
I want to see him and Masvidal so bad.
You gotta have the rematch with him and Khabib. I mean,
him and Khabib.
That has to happen.
Him and Nate Diaz has to happen again.
They have to have a 3 for that.
Nate and Masvidal needs to happen again.
Oh my goodness! So I mean,
that's the most exciting weight class.
I mean, I think Cerrone could. I mean, I don't think he's going to fight for too many more years because of his age.
Nah. He's got miles on him too.
Yeah. Man. So for the sport, it'd be better if McGregor won. But I still would like to see Cerrone win. But I wouldn't complain if he doesn't. He's like the Randy Couture. That they don't have to fight right now. They've proven everything, but they're still doing it because they love the sport. He's a classic dude,
Well, it's the good thing is too, he's getting a nice payday. It's at the end of his career. Supposedly he's making a few $1 million to fight Conor.
Connor's getting like 80.
80. So he says. That's what happens when you get those pay-per-view points.
My goodness.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, so I got
1,500. Awesome. So listen, before we wrap this up, Danny, the floor is yours. Plug yourself, plug your company, tell anyone who's listening and watching what you do, how to get into contact with you, and all that good stuff.
So I do everything from purchase, refinance, reverse, renovation. If you're looking to buy a house and make it bigger, make it nicer, upgrade something in it. If you are thinking of, if you want to move but not sell, we do renovations on your current homes. I'm just a phone call away. Really, it's anything mortgage related. Please feel free to reach out, even if you're not ready yet. I love educating people on the process and what to do and how to put you in a better position. So best way to reach me is always my cell. It's 619-248-1976, 619-248-1976.
And I could vouch for Danny. I'm refinancing my mortgage through him right now. And
how long did it take for that commitment?
Real quick. But the bottom line is this. I wanted to do certain things with the mortgage, and Danny sat me down, and not only can he get it done, but he advised me and he informed me and he educated me in the process and made me a lot more comfortable with the direction that I'm heading, which thank you very much for that. It's awesome. And I'm sure you do that for everybody, which is great, because I've dealt with many a mortgage broker in my time, an originator, whatever you want to call them, and never before has anyone taken the time to really kind of talk to me and ask me what my goals are and where I want to be and all that good stuff. So again, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes. But outside of that, we are the Pesce Lanzillotta team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Our number to get in touch with us if you want to buy, sell a property is 516-888-9711. That's 516-888-9711. If you want to go to our website, it's www.pl-team.com. And that's it, man. That's all I got for you. Danny, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And we are out.